welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad. I noticed at StreamYard, I don't know if you've seen this, Brian, being on other streams, but now we've got a new, all of a sudden in the background at StreamYard, we've got new countdown music. That is, I kind of like it. You know, switch. It was like the same thing for like 4 years. And then I noticed, I don't know, in 2025 or something, now we've got this kind of like the soothing music. They switched it up on me.
I felt like I was on hold there for a little bit. So
yeah, keep everybody calm. Yeah, no, thanks very much for joining me, guys. We've got Brian from REA, president of REA. He's back. There is another huge REA auction that is going on now. We've got 5 days left in this auction, 5 days to go. We've pulled up some items that we're going to look at and talk about. But first, Brian, how the heck are you, man? What's new in 2025?
Yeah, I'm really good. Always a pleasure to be here. 2025 has been a busy, big year for us here at REA. We've had a lot of changes, all really good, really positive. New website, new branding, couple new offerings. We can go into any of those in more detail where you want, but we've certainly not been letting the grass grow underneath us. It's been a busy 4 months already.
Yeah, speaking of, and of course, there's a lot of talk just about, you know, global stuff going on and will there be kind of fallout from that? It doesn't feel like it when I look at the collectible space, when I look at auction houses, grading, when I look at kind of all the key markers in our world, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of it. But yeah, if you want to just kind of speak to, you know, you just said there's new website, new innovations. You guys are reinvesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've always been really bullish on the hobby. Obviously, there was this huge run up of interest and prices and a lot of new people coming in 2020 and 2021. But we actually in the vintage space saw a lot of those people stay. And so our client base is much larger than it was 5 years ago. It's continued to grow auction over auction. And last year we decided to reinvest in the business, in the technology, expand some of the technology that was at our fingertips. And we launched it in January. This is the fourth auction that we've been doing with it. And it's been very, very well received. I mean, the site is faster, the site is fresher, the pictures are bigger and clearer. There's just a lot of very user-friendly improvements that we've been able to make. And as we get more and more people in the hobby and very sophisticated people in the hobby, you know, the easier you can make it and the better the experience. So.
One question I have, as you were just saying that, kind of more and more people coming in, we just had a sale. The Paul Skeens debut patch 1-of-1 card actually sold to a publicly traded company. And so as you were talking, is that, and just kind of curious from, you know, background working at an auction house like you have, is that something that is typical, or is that fairly new that you'd have kind of companies, you know, that are coming in and buying those sorts of items? Obviously, Dick's was doing it for a purpose. They've got kind of a hobby store, a collection of hobby stores they're looking to open. But is that something that's brand new in your mind, or is that something that maybe has been happening where corporations have been buying cards over the last little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, look, it's not it's not an everyday occurrence that big household name companies are getting in and buying high profile items. But we saw it even back in the early 90s when Walmart, gave away a Honus Wagner card or a 52 Mantle was put into some companies' giveaways. So
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. There's always been these links between cards and sports. And I think the Skeens is great. I can't wait to see what Dick's does with it. But I think people would be surprised sometimes to see who is bidding and where some of these things are going. I mean, there's definitely institutions, there's museums, there's teams that are trying to gather some of their own memorabilia and put it on display for fans. So, you know, it's not always collectors, but the more diverse the bidders, I think the better for everybody.
Absolutely. Now, today, for anybody that watches the replay, we're going to hit on some of the big dog cards in this auction, but a reminder at collectrea.com that there are cards at all price points and in sports memorabilia, all sorts of different items. So we're going to hit on some of the big juicy items tonight, but there is stuff at all different price points. So make sure you check out 5 days to go on collectrea.com. We're going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to go ahead and start with a big one here in this auction. And again, kind of what Brian was just saying, if you look at the website is different. I love the new layout of the website, and the pictures are absolutely crystal clear. That was something that I noticed as I was going through last month's auction. You guys had a monthly auction, but then also looking at some of this stuff, and it's incredible, the new layout. And we've got here, of course, a Topps Test USA Bobby Orr rookie card, an amazing PSA 9.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the condition on this card is incredible and really almost unheard of. You can see in the title there's 3 of them at this level. There's no PSA 10s. Bobby Orr, this card is iconic in the hockey collecting space. I mean, everybody's familiar with the regular Topps edition. Not everybody is familiar with the Test edition. So the Test differs in that the wood grain is a little lighter. That white strip on the side is indicative of a Test card. And, they were just produced in much, much lower quantities. So when they pop up in any condition, they catch your attention. But when they pop up in a 9, it kind of stops you in your tracks. And you see it's already at $170,000, which is nice with 5 days to go.
Yeah, unbelievable. And from what I saw in the description, there's no French on the back of this card. That's another identifier.
Correct. On the back. Yep. You won't have the multiple languages like you do on the standard Topps.
Got it. Yeah. Just to see it, you can tell that this card is a lot lighter than the Bobby Orr rookie, the regular one. And just to see one that looks this clear is wild. And as Brian just said, this is one of 3. There are no PSA 10s. So absolutely incredible card. All right. Moving along to probably the most popular card in the entire hobby. Spoilers. A 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. This is a beautiful SGC 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a card that needs no introduction. We love offering these in any grade, any time we can. But this one's extremely nice. I mean, you can see right here, great image, great centering, great corners, just really worthy of this 7.5 grade. They don't come around, in 7s and above super frequently. They're certainly out there. But, more often than not, you'll see them in 1s or 2s or 3s. So this 7.5, when we got it, we were super excited about it. And the bidders are loving it too. It's already at 170 as well.
Yeah, the registration and the color on this card is absolutely incredible. Usually when you see, just, nicks and stuff on the 50s baseball cards, whether, a crease knocks it down or something, but a lot of times the coloring is just not as bold as what you see on a card like this. It's such a amazing card when you have the yellow popping, you've got the teal in the background, and then the blue, kind of that, that dark blue. This is wild. Really nice copy. All right. Oh man, you can't see it yet, but I can see it popping up. This is another huge one. Have you had this same card before, or is this slightly different? We talked about this in the last one because there was another Babe Ruth that was in the same time period, but I don't think it was a Morehouse baking in the last one that we did.
Yeah, so we've had a couple rookies, I think, when you and I have spoken. Last fall, we actually did have a Morehouse baking because it was part of this incredible new to the hobby find. There were about 120 Morehouse cards. Nobody in 110 years had ever seen a Babe Ruth with this particular advertisement, and we found 2 of them at the same time. So it was immensely cool for us to be able to share this with the hobby. We sold the PSA 3.5 first, brought over $800,000, almost $900,000. This is the lesser grade, but no less rare or desirable, or even for a PSA 1, pretty good looking card. So this has been fun. This is the end of that find, and it's graded a PSA 1. But if you want to have a Morehouse Ruth and you're not interested in spending $900,000, this is your best option.
This is your shot. Yeah. The one thing I noticed here in the description too, there's only 57 copies period of all players from this set, from the 1916 Morehouse baking set, that have ever been graded. Now, of course, there might be more out there, but that have been graded anyway. And it says here canceled on the back. Do you know what the reasoning is for the canceled writing on the back?
Yeah, so this was actually one of the earliest redemption cards, if you will. So you can see here by where it says free, they describe motion, where you could exchange cards for a baseball and a bat or a jump rope. And the fact that this means that this is canceled means that somebody would have rather had a jump rope than a Babe Ruth card back in 1916.
Man.
So it's canceled. PSA does not knock the grade down because it is considered part of the issue when they are redeemed like this. But yeah, that's what that means.
What a beast of a card. And just to think back at the time period and people not realizing what stuff was and how important it would be in the future, it's just incredible. But yeah, just the fact that a jump rope was an option. That's wild.
Turns out to be a very expensive jump rope if you look at the prices today.
Yeah, and it's almost like, what would the jump rope bring at
Yeah.
auction? I mean, probably wouldn't do too badly.
Yeah.
All right. One of our mutual friends for this next card bought a card, one of these recently in a 1/5. This is a smoking card here. A credible hobby card, 1915 Cracker Jack. It's the Shoeless Joe Jackson in a 5. Beautiful card.
Yeah, I mean, iconic. The player, the card, the set, everything about it. I mean, Cracker Jacks, I think, are about as synonymous with baseball as you can get. And Joe Jackson, we know his reputation. His cards are few and far between. He's the key, one of the keys to this 1915 Cracker Jack set. So yeah, I mean, one of our mutual friends bought an example, and I think he'll tell you he bought it because it was iconic. He bought it because it was good looking, classic. And that's how I feel about this example here. Graded a 5, presents like a 7, just a beautiful, beautiful copy.
Yeah, this is the Field of Dreams, Shoeless Joe Jackson. For those that didn't realize that was the connection. I know a lot of baseball folks know, but in case anyone's watching and wondering, like, what's the big deal about Joe Jackson? There's a lot of history around this guy. So, man, that's an incredible card. All right, next up, we're going to switch over to football. This is one of those cards in the early Beckett magazines. And I remember thinking, like, who the heck is this guy? And why is this card so important? And it's the 1935 National Chico, the Bronko Nagurski rookie card.
Yeah, I mean, this in the football realm, I mean, you're a football guy. This is about as important as you can get, as iconic as you can get in the realm of football. This is the 52 mantle, if you will. And they just do not come up in this condition. I mean, this is an SGC 8. Most of the time when we're selling a Nagurski, it's a PSA 1, a PSA 2. They're very hard to find in even medium grades. So this 8, when it came in, we were stunned by it. It's the highest graded example. It's the only SGC 8. Just a beautiful card.
And this says here in the description, this is the highest graded SGC copy of this card. Because I was thinking about it because we've talked about this card before. They've been in previous auctions, but I don't remember talking about one that was an 8 or higher than that. So yeah, this is a beast. Was this one, I'm just curious if you happen to know, is this one that was in a collection that was already graded, or was this kind of a new find where the person, got it graded out over the last couple of years?
This came to us already graded from a collector. So I don't know exactly when the card was graded, but it's not, it's not like the Morehouse Ruth where we found it in a shoebox somewhere. I mean, this has already been graded, but SGC's been around going on 30 years now, and for there only to be 1/8 kind of speaks to the rarity in that condition.
Unbelievable. It makes me think of that Wilt rookie that just popped up that got an SGC 10 that ended up going over to be a PSA 10, but that was a new find. Just incredible stuff.
It happens. I mean, there's certainly stories about stuff like that happening, but not every day for sure.
All right, we're going back to the Babe, and this is a card that I have never seen before. I don't recognize this card at all. The 1922 V61 Nielsen's Chocolate. It's a food card, Type 2. Tell us a little bit more about this one, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, this is a card that just doesn't come up in auctions and collections very frequently. Nielsen's Chocolate, as you alluded to, food, candy card, one of the several issues in the 1920s that featured Babe Ruth as obviously the key card. PSA 3 for a card like this, very respectable, considered mid to high grade because they're often found creased. They're stored with candy. They're stained. Nobody was thinking about, go back to our conversation about nobody was thinking about preserving these cards. So this card's very, very nice, really well-centered, good corners, simple image, but a strong image, and one that just doesn't come up all that often.
Yeah. How many of these have you gotten, like over the last 12 months? How often, or the last couple of years, how many of these have you seen, do you think? Like,
I don't know the answer, but off the top of my head, I would say fewer than 5.
Okay. Yeah. So Definitely rare. Cool. I was just curious because there's these early Babe Ruth cards. I'm learning about them kind of as we go. Actually, I learned about a lot about the cards just through through REA auctions.
Yeah.
All right. We've got another beast coming up here. This is a dream card for me. I just want the card by itself, let alone a signed copy of the card. 51 Bowman Willie Mays rookie card, 2.5 grade with a 10 auto. Unreal.
Yeah, super cool card. I mean, we just got this graded recently with the number grade on the card and the auto. You know, it used to be considered taboo to get these cards signed, but what we've seen in the last couple of years is that the hobby is really valuing and appreciating these signed, especially rookie card examples. So this one's beautiful. The grade 10 tells you everything that you need to know. Bold signature, perfectly placed, you know, just a very strong appearance. And Mays, you know, passed away recently, not going to be signing anymore. A good opportunity for somebody.
I know this is exactly the kind of card I like because it looks like where it got dinged is probably you look at edges, you look at some of the centering, you know, of course, but his face looks great and a lot of the coloring, the bat and everything. I mean, that's one thing. A lot of times you see low grade, whether it be 51 Bowman or 52 Tops, and there's a crease across the face or something. This one looks really nice. And then of course you have a beautiful autograph on it that, and a lot of times you'll have kind of a streaky auto or something. It's wow. Yeah, this is a nice one.
Yeah, it's got a lot going for it, despite the 2.5.
All right, let's switch over. We've got a modern card, and everyone's like, where are all the modern cards? And we've got one of the best hitters of all time, would you say?
Oh, I think absolutely. I mean, even if you just consider what he did in the major leagues, and you don't even look at what he did in Japan, I mean, he's just a beast. And this card obviously is going into Cooperstown this year. This card's got a lot of attention. It's one of the most watched items in this auction, if you believe it. Bowman Chrome, rookie X-Fractor, just a really, really cool card. And one that, you know, we handle cards from the 1860s all the way to the modern day, but I can't remember the last time I saw an example of this card. So in a 10, you know, as far as modern cards are concerned, you see here Pop 3, really a special card.
Yeah, beautiful Ichiro. And man, it's a brutal grade with the black bordering right here. And the centering is just perfect. That is so tough. I'm sure, I don't know what the pop count is. I'm sure it's got to be really low for this card, just given the coloring on it.
Yeah, Pop 3.
Pop 3. Okay, there you go. Well, that explains a lot of the chase there. We'll stay on modern baseball players. Some might say this is the next Babe Ruth or something similar to Babe Ruth. Shohei Ohtani. This was a really unique card. It's, of course, a BGS 10 pristine Ohtani auto out of 40 black and white card. Beautiful.
Yeah, this card, I'm mesmerized by it. I find it to be very striking. I find it to be a unique design. I mean, Ohtani, as with a lot of these modern players, has so many cards any given year. This is really unlike many or any of his cards. 1010 black label from Beckett, super rare, signed, serial numbered, just kind of takes everything that you want in a modern card and puts it into one package. So loved when we got the opportunity to auction this. Excited to see where it ends up.
And one thing that's really interesting, you had mentioned it, there's no shortage necessarily of Ohtani autograph cards from his rookie year from 2018. And then, of course, what you have moving forward. He's got a lot of cards, but man, there is so much demand for this player. It's like, you know, I mean, he's, you know, otherworldly as far as a player goes, but the demand for his stuff just maintains. I mean, it's not as if I watch auctions on Ohtani and it's like nothing really kind of slips through. I never see any kind of, you know, his like autographed, you know, 2018 Ohtani cards that sell, you know, that sell very inexpensively or something. Nothing seemed to slip through the cracks on these.
Yeah. And I mean, worldwide fan base, worldwide buying base, bidding base. We talked earlier about who's bidding. You know, Ohtani brings in people from parts of the world that maybe, you know, you don't associate with card collecting all the time, but it's been fun to watch his impact on the hobby.
Absolutely. All right, we're going back to football. 52 Bowman. Gotta love this set, man. This is a beautiful set. The 50s baseball cards, they get a lot of love, but there is some great 50s football cards as well. And the NFL's never been more popular than it is now. This is such a great, I mean, I'm actually going to watch this one because we're sitting at $2,200, 5 days. Tell us about a complete set. It looks like it's all SGC.
I think probably just a few cards are graded. I would wager to say,
Okay.
yeah. Most of the set is raw. So, I mean, we threw this in here for you because, you know, love football cards, love vintage football. 52 Bowman has always been one of my favorite vintage football sets. I just think that the color and the design is really special. Great player selection, ton of Hall of Famers, just really a fun set to go through and a fun set to collect. Grades all over the place here. You see some 4s, 5s. There's a 7 that I saw. So this presents just a really special opportunity for collectors. Get one of the most popular sets in a nice mix of grades and, tuck it away and let it just age in your collection, basically.
Yeah, I love it. 50s baseball is the same, but, they're not using, of course, action photographs. They're using, it's actual art. It's artwork. It's illustrations. And yeah, you just can't beat it. Of course, we're never going to, we have something similar to that now. We'll have artists do cards, but I mean, it's just that 50s time period in America. I think people just love it.
Special. Very special.
All right, man. This one actually made me sad when I saw this. The Carl Weathers, rest in peace. Of course, known for, Rocky fame. Yeah. And I honestly haven't seen this card before. This was not on my radar at all. 71 BC Lions Chevron touchdown bonus card, the Carl Weathers rookie in a 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I see a lot of cards every day at REA. When this one came through the door, it was the first time I had ever seen it myself. So Carl Weathers, like you alluded to, not really known for his football career, more known for his acting career. But in 1971, he was kind of the chase card, the bonus card in this Chevron CFL set. So he played for the BC Lions. We actually separated this card out from the rest of the set, which is in this auction as well, because it's the highest graded, only one graded at this level. So cool card. If you're a football fan, if you're a rarity fan, if you're a Rocky fan, this one's got your name on it.
Yeah, I think something that is underrated in the vintage space, when you look at, we just looked at Babe Ruth cards, you have this Carl Weathers card, you have kind of the big releases like the Topps releases and even kind of pre-war tobacco cards, but then you have all of these other cards, throughout time, whether it be promo cards or food, or whatever it was. And I feel like that's something that, if you're a modern card collector and you've never really, dove into vintage, you wouldn't realize there's a lot of stuff outside of just the regular releases and just popular hobby cards that people are aware of. I know a lot of vintage collectors that are they really focus a lot on kind of those really niche cards that are out there, and there's sets that pop up they don't even know that exist from the 30s, or something.
Yeah, no, it's there's more cards issued in the old days, if you will, than people realize. And some of them are very cool and they don't pop up that often, which makes collecting fun.
Now you might think, ho hum, this is just a regular old 2000 Bowman Tom Brady card, but no, this is a numbered gold version of the Bowman card, numbered out of 99. It is in an 8. But yeah, this again is kind of one of those, it's not mega rare, but they don't pop up every day. That's for sure.
Yeah, and this one came to us raw, actually, which is even more incredible. This had been tucked in a collection for 20 plus years. Somebody went through and said, you know what, this is serial number. This might be special. So that was really fun for us to kind of shepherd it from a binder through the PSA grading process and now to auction. Numbered to 99. They don't pop up all that often. And you can see here, I mean, this is one of the items in the auction that has the most bids already. I mean, it's getting a lot of attention because I think people understand how significant this card is to modern football collecting.
Absolutely. And you kind of made a great point there. Back in 2000, it's not that numbered cards were brand new to the hobby in 2000. In the 90s, they started rolling them out. But I can certainly see how, back then the hobby wasn't nearly as popular as it is today. So, these type of cards could slip through the cracks because Tom Brady wasn't the number 1 overall pick. He just kind of, was a nobody that just kind of burst onto the scene. So that's a cool story. And man, the black border, especially kind of on the back, on the front, you don't realize, you're like, oh, it's not so bad here on the front, but then you look at the back and then you're grading out the back. I think that's where you get killed for, and so an 8 is probably a really nice grade for this.
Yeah, I mean, it shares a lot of characteristics with that Ichiro X Fractor that we looked at before. I mean, that was 2001. This is 2000. Very condition sensitive, and an 8. This one has an eye appeal sticker here, so it's a very strong 8.
All right, let's stay on football. Here's a guy that had a great season last year, but ended it kind of. People were thinking this was going to be a three-peat. And then the Eagles shocked the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And we'll see what happens, how Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to bounce back. I think we've got the NFL draft in 2 nights. I think the Chiefs are going to probably pick a lineman, I would guess, because they kind of got manhandled. The Eagles, though, their front 7 is absolutely beastly. But I think the Chiefs are probably going to get some help for old Patrick Mahomes. I think they'll still be all right moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a good thing going right now. I think the three-peat would have been special, but this, he's got so many rookie cards. He's in that class where there's all different parallels and all different sets. This is the Purple Crystals parallel. It's signed, numbered, very attractive card. And like we talked about with the Brady and we talked about with the Ichiro, very condition sensitive. So the fact that this is a 10, it's very nice, very special.
And the auto looks great on it too. The auto's not streaky. And I think too, there's going to be, and I'm just speculating here, this is just my own opinion, but 2017 Prism, just because it's Mahomes' rookie year, I think is going to be a special year for Prism. And then we've got, this is the last year of licensed Prism that we're probably going to see. So I think that there will be kind of a nostalgic effect, when people look back on 2012 to whatever it is, 2024, or whatever, kind of that those years of Prism, if once it goes away for a little while, if that does happen, we'll see what happens. But I think that people are going to look back at a set like this, and of course, cards like these, and it's going to be like, man, those are special.
For sure.
All right. We are done with modern. We're going back in time a little bit. We got to go basketball. Bill Russell's rookie card, 57-58 tops. This is another card, man, and an SGC 7.5. These are always typically beat up when I see them. I mean, it's really difficult to find a card that is a 7.5. I mean, this one looks really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, similar to what we were talking about with the Nagurski earlier, they show up from time to time, but they don't show up in high grade. And a Russell and a 7.5 kind of stops you in your tracks. This card doesn't have a lot of the print defects, the snow, the registration issues, the print lines that you often see with 57 tops basketball. And even from a centering perspective, it's more well-centered than you encounter typically with 57 basketball. So iconic card, tremendous player, exceptional grade, really, really nice one to have in the collection.
Yeah, you really nailed it with the snow. The registration is usually awful on these cards. I mean, it just is. Usually you see these in kind of a 1 or a 2. Frankly, I would love to have this card in a 1 or 2. I mean, but to see one like this where it's really clear, it just doesn't happen. It just does not happen like this. That's an awesome card.
Yeah. I have to say hello to Tony here. I've known Tony for 20 plus years.
Oh, hey, Tony. Thanks for joining us. Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm biased on the next card. I'm glad that you pulled this one up. I own this card, not this one. Everyone's going to freak out. Are you selling your copy? No, I own this card in a 5.5. This is a really nice 6. This is the one thing too. And we've had these on before and talked about them. PSA is really tough on the centering for these. They usually always have kind of a heavy top border here, these 84 star 101s. And this is a really nice copy. I mean, if you look, of course, you got kind of that bottom left corner's got a little white on it, but I mean, man, this is a really pretty copy.
Yeah. And the star basketball, I think once PSA started grading them, which is just relatively recently in the big scheme of things, just changed the market and changed the exposure and the appreciation. I mean, we've seen the 101 Jordan emerge as kind of a must-have card for basketball collectors. We've seen the prices on them skyrocket. And like you said, not all 6s, 7s, 5s, 8s, whatever the grade is, are created equal. So this is particularly attractive, decent centering for the grade, light corner touch, beautiful color. Looks like it just came right out of a star bag. Really nice one.
Yeah, I'll kind of reiterate when I talk to people about these stars, especially the 101, you almost have to view this, even though this is not considered a vintage card, although we're all getting older, so 80s is starting to become vintage for a lot of people. But you almost have to view this card similarly to how you would look at a 50s baseball card. You know, it's kind of like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What are you prioritizing as far as centering and edging? And, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. And you can have 6s that look like this 6 looks fantastic. I've seen other 6s where I'm like, that's, you know, I'm surprised I got a 6. So, you know, it really is like you have to look at it like a vintage card.
Yeah.
All right. We will stay on the Michael Jordan train. Let's go to 86 Fleer. You knew it was coming, and it's a PSA 9 complete set. 86 Fleer complete set, PSA 9. Iconic. It might be the most iconic basketball set, period. And this is a whole, all 132 cards and a 9, including the Jordan. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Iconic, whether you just want to talk about the Jordan, whether you want to talk about the set, you know, my background, for anybody that doesn't know me, is predominantly baseball and then predominantly vintage baseball. And I remember when I was really learning about modern or semi-modern and branching out into other sports, I was just struck by how star-studded the 86 Fleer basketball set is, and how many rookies are in there and how many Hall of Famers are in there. And so to have the entire set in any condition is important and impressive for basketball collectors, but to have this uniformity and the 9s and, you know, condition sensitive, we've touched on how there's all these qualities of cards that make them tough to achieve high grades on. 86 Fleer is very tough to gem. So to have 132 mint cards, it's a cool opportunity for somebody.
Especially when you go back in time, of course, you know, for people that are watching, they might be a little bit younger. This is pre-grading when this came out. PSA started in 1991. And even when they started out, it wasn't popular to go grade cards. So people were not taking great care of these. You know, this set didn't sell. You know, they sent it back. You know, retailers couldn't sell it. They sent it back to the manufacturer. I mean, like, this was one of those that aged like a fine wine. You know, there's so many stars in this set, but kind of to talk to what you're saying is to get, you know, every card in a 9. It's tough. Even though it's not short printed by any stretch. They weren't taken care of, you know, and these weren't popular. You know, basketball cards were not highly collected in 86.
Yeah. And they were a total afterthought. And now they've really emerged as kind of a must have and really important set. I mean, when you think about basketball card collecting, you just can't talk about it without 86 Fleer, whether you talk about most important individual cards, whether you talk about the best, you know, the most star-studded set, the most important set. I mean, 86 Fleer is in the conversation for all those.
All right. I know the hockey fans are getting irritated. So we're going to flip over to Wayne Gretzky. Just had his golds record broken. He seems to be a good sport about it. But this is a card, and again, a card that I have never heard of or seen, and it speaks again to when you're going back and looking at vintage cards. This is 77, 79 Sportscaster Italy. This is kind of one of those, you know, sets that people aren't necessarily aware of, but early Wayne Gretzky card, and it's signed.
Yeah, the Sportscaster set is an interesting one. I mean, it had a tremendous number of cards in it. It had a wide variety of cards. Sports figures from obscure sports, mainstream sports, American sports, international sports, you name it. And they produced them in a variety of different countries. So this is the Italian version. For anybody that's not familiar with it, this is a larger PSA holder. So this might be 5x7, 5x8 in measurement. So the Italian version, unsigned, scarce. Finding a signed example, extremely rare. I've never seen another one. I mean, they could certainly exist, but it's the first time we've ever offered one. And, you know, like you said, even though his goals record has been broken, I still think he's a decent player. And
he did all right.
He's okay. I think that this would be a real cool one. If you want something that's a little bit off the beaten path, and you don't want the Topps or O-Pee-Chee from 79, this is a very cool alternative.
Yeah, something different, and it's a great photo of him too.
Super cool.
I mean, it's a great card. All right, let's flip over. This is one that was a little bit different. Okay, so this is again something that was off of my radar. 1979 NCAA basketball finals ticket stub, a PSA 5, and there's a program with it. And I guess this is the Magic Johnson Larry Bird finals is what it looks like.
Yeah, the 79 NCAA basketball finals is regarded as a hugely important one because it put Magic's team against Bird's team, and then they would obviously both go on to be incredible forces in the NBA. We've offered the tickets before. We've offered them signed. I cannot recall having ever offered the program. So this is a really unique pairing. Both of them really strong condition, given that how many people save their tickets, how many people save their programs. So a very cool pairing. If you're a fan of Bird, if you're a fan of Magic, if you like college basketball, this is a really special pair.
Yeah, very unique piece. I was like, wow, that was interesting. When you guys sent it over, I'm like, I've never seen those paired together before. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over to some sports memorabilia. We've got the 1956 Casey Jones Team USA from the Melbourne Olympics game used uniform. So this is, of course, it's been, the game used market has been absolutely electric the last 5 years, especially. What can you tell us about this one?
This one, in my opinion, is absolutely as special as you can get. I mean, the 56 Olympic team had Casey Jones, it had Bill Russell. This is direct from the family. This has ironclad provenance, tremendous condition, really just a significant offering. We're also offering his medal from that game, his lapel pin from those games. So just a real honor for us to present this Olympic memorabilia from Casey Jones' estate. This one doesn't have a bid yet, but I think everybody's sleeping on it. I think this one's going to surprise us, and I think it's one of the coolest pieces in the auction.
Yeah, that is a piece of American history right there. Very, very cool. Speaking of American history, we'll stay right on it. We've got, and the coloring on this is awesome. Whether you're an Orioles fan or not, Baltimore, whatever. I mean, this thing, look at this. 1966 Brooks Robinson, Baltimore Orioles signed game-used road jersey, and it's got a cool inscription, the World Championship season.
Yeah, I mean, Brooks Robinson, I mean, I'm a Cal Ripken fan, but it's hard to argue with how significant Brooks Robinson was to that franchise and how just an incredible player he was when he was playing. So this is a game-used jersey from 66. Orioles win the World Series. The jersey is graded a perfect 10 by Mears. It's signed and inscribed. It has everything going for it. So a really, really special piece. Hasn't been up for auction in a long time. This was buried in a private collection, and there's been a tremendous amount of interest in it. So it'll be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, you really can't beat these old jerseys. These this is like retro, but man, they're fantastic. I almost wish they would do throwbacks for Major League Baseball players, to wear like today's players to wear some of these old ones.
Yeah. They had some cool jerseys back in the day.
Amazing piece. All right. So we will finish it out here with one more game used jersey. Dr. J, the guy that Michael Jordan looked up to, watched play growing up. Julius Erving, game used Philadelphia 76ers road uni. And it's got a really nice auto here as well for this one. And it's got the shorts, and the shorts are signed. So we got dual autos here.
Yeah. Just a beautiful combination. Looks like it was made yesterday. Comes directly from Erving, signed. He's got a beautiful signature, graded a 10, just like that Robinson was. So just really, again, the perfect combination. Tremendous condition, signed, originates directly from the player himself, grades a perfect 10. I mean, if you're an Erving fan, this is very hard to argue with, as far as adding it to your collection. I think it's a must-have.
Yeah, Erving or 76ers, man. Because again, just that old kind of the retro, the logo and everything, you just can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right. And that is all of the items that we have to share tonight. Brian, thanks so much again, man, for coming on. This is our kind of our quarterly show. I always love these. I always learn a lot. I always see new cards when I'm watching REA. We've got 5 days left, and you guys want to be on collectrea.com. Sign up, register, make sure that you don't wait. Is it Saturday or Sunday night when it ends?
Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern is the deadline. And you know, just to reiterate, you talked about it earlier, where we focused a lot on some high profile items, but there's items in this auction that are hundreds of dollars, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. There's a lot of options. There's over 3,600 lots, still time to sign up and bid. So encourage people to check it out. And even if you're not a bidder, you might learn something.
Absolutely. All right, Brian, thanks again, man. We will see you again next time. Guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.